accidents. Son of a gun, and I have made more mistakes than everybody put together. Over and over again.
Hey everybody. All right. So, ketchup. It's great on sandwiches and fries. So we have my half walls with magnets, and we're experimenting with having magnetic windows, so the half walls have windows. Great. I have no idea if it says my mic's working. We on Sunday, I believe. Hi, Autumn. On Sunday, we glued another piece of foam that's textured to look like wood to another window, and it dried really well. So I'm going to do that process again, but we also need to put new magnets in another half wall. Magnets. There we go. Then we also started turning these rectangular cubes 1 inch by 1 inch by 8 centimeters into some just cave rock walls, perfect for mines or caves. We have a bunch of them that need to get made because my life is nothing but making rocks out of foam. The cabin that we're working on is coming along. We have the deck pretty much finished. We have the first space. The second space is pretty much there. Just need to put the nails. And then the third space is the most amount of work we need to do. So, let's get cracking. Get it? Cracking. Brickmaster. Stickbug sending love. C-Mike, thank you so much, Stickbug. Okay, so make sure these are connected the right way. Perfect. Is there a lot of space up here? So we're gonna start with, we've already lined up, make sure I have that. Foam is so easy to knock over. Give you a macro lens for a second. So I've already tacked on where the magnets should go by matching it to the previous window. So what I'm going to start with is just simply pressing the magnet in. There we go. And that will give me a nice little shape. We'll even break a little bit of the foam, but that's okay. There we go. It's not a lot yet. Let me take the most important tool possible. Mechanical pencil. And I'm just poking holes inside the pressure point that made by the magnet. That way I can just dig it out. I only have 4 of these half walls, and though it technically was enough for a game, I'd feel more comfortable with around 8. So in a stream down the line, let's say probably around February, because by then I'll have a lot of other stuff done, I'll be able to make some more of these. So I think I made these off camera. I never got to show the process because I was in a rush. So it'd be nice to show you guys how I made these walls. Let's get a knife in there. There we go. New video just dropped on the channel this morning. Comparing the new, well, talking about the new MCDM RPG and comparing it to D&D, and just sharing my excitement that something really cool made by really cool people is happening. It's a fun little video. Wood glue. First, does it fit? Oh yeah, it'll fit. What just happened? The lid for my glue bottle is glued to the top. Like, I pulled it off, but then the little cap piece stayed in there. Weird. Do I have plans to run a new game system? I want to... Am I out of focus? I want to run Dracula with Shadow Dark, or even Cocaine Owlbear, like those like classic. I mean, Cocaine Owlbear isn't classic, but classic fighting a monster in a kind of spooky horror-esque genre. I want to do Shadow Dark, and I'm familiar with the system and the rules. I just need to do some playtests and learn the system. I want to... That was a lot of glue. I also want to run a fairly long-form campaign for Patreon in the Alien system. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I mean, it was a fun game. Then I still want to do the Blade Runner game. It's just really, I think that's going to be an end of the year kind of thing for next year.
The New Year's game.
Yeah. And Well, I got the magnets in while I was talking. Off camera. I put the glue in, and then I pressed the magnets in. I'm such a good content creator, guys. What else? When the MCDM game comes out, I think, because I'm part of the Patreon, so I'm able to keep up with the development. I'm curious if it will be a better system to do what we're doing on the channel, right? Like, D&D works great as is. There are some things that we have to homebrew around, but that's fine. What I'm noticing is a handful of my homebrews just to run D&D for my style on camera are going to essentially be built into the game, and that is what's like piquing my interest. So I'm curious to see if it makes more sense to play that game for heroic fantasy adventures. Not sure. The game is still early development. So it's just something interesting. But yeah, Shadow Dark for like grittier fantasy adventures. Alien for sci-fi gritty adventures. And heck, I even think... No, that doesn't make sense. And those are only the games that are, like, floating around my head. I just discovered another game. It's a solo RPG dungeon crawl where you dive into a dungeon. You literally play by yourself. You dive into a dungeon, you roll dice to randomly determine the size of the room and what monsters are in the room. And it's a fairly clean system. It's called 2D6 Dungeon Crawl, or 2D6 Dungeons. Someone was playing it online. I was really impressed, to the point that I was like, I would love to run this as a DM and use this for dungeon design when just playing D&D. So it's like, hey, we have no idea what the next room is. All you guys gotta do is roll to find out. Even I don't even know. But something I said to my friend recently is, as a DM, if you're going to do random tables, curate the random tables. So that way they, thematically, they make sense. But yeah, I'm not concerned if a game doesn't fit my style or not, because, you know, I can homebrew stuff. Magnet's popping out a little bit. The fact that the MCDM game is not a dungeon crawler. That's fine. D&D's not a dungeon crawler. I came up with I put together the Underworld clock from a blog post that I found, and I was like, oh, that's a really clever way to integrate old school dungeon crawling into current 5e. I'm going to take that, I'm going to tweak it for my games. Got it. Great. So I use the Underworld clock to get dungeon crawling experience in heroic fantasy, so I'm good with that. I want to so bad, but I just want to pull the magnets out of the foam. Here, we can work on the other ones. So yeah, that's my feeling for running other systems. My one thing that excites me is that the goal for my world building is that it can fit in any system. So it's a good experiment. How the underworld clock works? Yeah, so how the underworld clock works, and I plan on making a new video, much clearer video on the system. Clock starts at 20. I'm considering bumping it up to 24, so that way it's easier to make like little dials or little motion graphics. But it essentially starts at 20 every time the players choose to begin their exploration, right? Whether it's going into a dungeon or going into the wilderness. And every time the players make a large noise or explore a new room, hallway, or if it's the wilderness, it's like a new day, they roll an underworld die, typically a d6, and they subtract that roll from the clock. When the clock strikes 0, an encounter happens. It's intended to be a wandering encounter or a random monster. It can be a planned one, because ideally you know the space and the theme of where they're exploring. And around 3 or less, the players get an omen or a hint to the monster. Players can increase the omen number by having hirelings or retainers in the adventuring party, because then there's more sets of eyes being able to spot a monster.
Actually, next year, not next year.
Allie is coming out of a video with her headphones, not knowing what we're talking about, and throwing in her 2 cents about something. Here we go.
I just saw Brick Basket comment about like how he's in for an alien game, and I would actually really love to do like a 10-episode alien campaign.
Yeah, like a 10-episode alien campaign would be sick.
Now if we're able to do it, to have it come out for Halloween.
If it's audio only, it's more likely to happen,
But then it would only be Patreon.
but it would only be Patreon.
It should be public. What do you think?
I don't know. Vitor, welcome. We will continue the underworld clock. Brickmaster, don't lose my spot in it. Alien, 10 episodes. A 10-episode alien adventure, like Alien the movie, Xenomorph style. If we did audio only, it would be easier on us because it's less hard drive space. And it would be, well, it'd be a little bit less editing, but
Oh, it is, 'cause you're not camera switching.
I'm not camera switching, but I'm doing still a lot more sound design because I'm freer to do more things.
Yes, but because there's no visual, it's less stressful.
Yeah,
Like you could probably get most of it done in 2 passes versus right now you spend 4 passes.
this is true. So it'd be easier. We could, if it's Patreon only, we could do like the first 2 or 3 episodes public, but it would be kind of like cinematic art on the screen versus of anything relatable visually,
Yeah.
which I think is fine. Other podcasts do that totally, and the point is to bring over to Patreon. I think that's okay. Like if we were to do it on camera, every session is 1.5 terabytes. If we do audio only, every session is just 20 gigs. It's a big difference.
Well, if not, they're gonna get my old games in the woods next year for Patreon too.
Yeah.
That would be like 1 to 2 sessions, like 4 to 6 episodes. Because I just like I want to keep the pacing good for you guys, but I don't want to feel as rushed as I was when I did Mark David.
Sure. And you rushed yourself on that, by the way.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. It's just that I was trying to make sure the pacing is interesting for you.
Yeah, so could play that. Because we also want to do Dracula.
Yeah, so we'll have to sit down and figure out the schedule. Dracula should totally be on the
I think Dracula could be on camera. It's not meant to be a long campaign. I think it's going to be a little bit more than a one-shot.
Okay, so like 2, 3 seconds.
It's going to be like 2 to 3 sessions. So it'll be about like 5 episodes or so.
God, I need more coffee. This is the problem. Do you have 2 cups in there or just 1?
I only had 1 cup. There's still a little bit more milk. Yep, I didn't use it all in your drink, so you can just
Coffee.
there's plenty of coffee.
Alright, I'm done distracting you for 15 minutes.
Thank you for stop distracting me. So the Underworld Clock. I was
Secret Master Grace.
Underworld Clock is, what was I saying? So every time they explore a new hallway or room in a dungeon, you roll on the Underworld Clock, or if they make a loud noise. I have some variants on that, where like if they explore a similar room or 3 similar rooms, it's equivalent, so they gotta roll then. So it's safer to check familiar rooms. If they create a light source in darkness, or if the light source goes completely out and goes to darkness. So that way darkness is a prominent thing. And if you're searching in complete darkness, it's 2 dice. So that's the gist of it, of Underworld Clock. There's some fun variants on rest. So it's like you have to care about where you rest, or else you have to roll or not roll. So it's like looking for safe places to sleep. I make resting cost rations when exploring. So it's like a short rest is 1 ration, 2 rations for a long rest. To kind of make that matter and kind of capture the feeling, and just carry some rations, right? We can figure out how many rations in the moment. And then if you sleep for every rest in the dungeon, the Underworld Clock die increases from a D6 to a D8 to a D10 to a D12 and eventually a D20. And then every long rest or every night spent out of the dungeon and safely in a settlement, the die will shrink back down to a D6. I think that covers it. And it turns that random encounter dice rolling from older editions into a ticking clock. And I've talking to my players, they love tracking the Underworld Clock. Vitor, let's see, how's everyone doing? I'm doing great. I stayed up late, edited the video that came out today, and here I am. It was a timely piece, so I wanted to hurry up and get it out. So pumped. OSR related stuff is getting a comeback. What's great about the OSR stuff getting a comeback, it's that the genre itself is being refined, which is great, versus playing old rules that are 50 years old. We're taking newer rules that people enjoy to adapt older systems and ideas so they're even more fun to play. I really love that. Because it shouldn't stop a new player in the hobby to go, oh, you want to play this old set of rules? It shouldn't be like, no, because that's old. I want to play a new game, right? It shouldn't be that way, but people are like that. So having a new game like Shadow Dark do a lot of that heavy lifting to bring it to a new people, it's great. And I love that MCDM is having a modern, new, fresh take on heroic fantasy. And the fact that every time they talk about rules that they want to add into their game, they're basically the homebrews I add to D&D, so I'm really excited. Alright, so I just gotta put the glue into the hole. There we go. Dracula would be super cool, exactly, if played out of Bram Stoker's novel. Yeah. So what I'm feeling. Oh, where's the hole? There it is. What I'm feeling is I'm going to look at the novel and the movies, especially the classic movies. Because, like, what visual cues can I pull from that to describe at the table? That would be fun. So look at that. Look at... I should be looking at Ravenloft and Curse of Strahd for inspiration. Mostly, what I would pull from that is... I've never finished Curse of Strahd. So I don't want to spoil myself by learning more about the ending. Whereas I think what I have currently played in Curse of Strahd is great for some setup stuff to get the story going. So I have that in mind. I have... What was the new Dracula movie that came out on the ship? It's basically, the whole movie is built around the captain's log in the Dracula book. That's a cool, like, chapter in that can happen in the adventure. There we go. We got magnets in our walls, guys. A child's dream. Then, playing Shadow Dark would be fun because it's far scarier that way, and it's about playing, because if the whole point of these D&D games are using the game to motivate the story, it makes sense to play games that are in similar genre fields. Okay, we got our rock wall. I'm gonna let all the walls with the magnets dry as we tackle some more cave rock walls. Let's just do one and then we can hop over to the cabin. What else? So yeah, Dracula would be fun with that. Alien, I remember when we finished doing the Alien one shot, I was really curious on what would be another good Alien adventure. Curse of the Dimitri. Dimitri or Demeter? Demeter. It's either Dimitri or Demeter. I don't trust my brain. Do I not have my ruler with me? Okay, so I've carved up the sides of this rectangle. Now I'm just going to use the ruler to brush it off. So yeah, I'm inspired by that. Yeah, I kind of want to like take all those. Oh, also, take what I love about the Van Helsing movie for Dracula. Oh. I think what will be fun for Dracula is Dracula might be a good game to try doing Dungeon Master like session preps for backers. I don't know. It's literally just coming into my mind. I don't know if it's a good idea, if it's... But it would be fun. And then you guys can chip in with some ideas. It's super easy to make these rock walls. It's just messy. Alright, so now that I have these cleaned out, what I want to do is make horizontal grooves, little gaps in the rocks. Just like that. I still have to make the mummy, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, and what's clutch is because of the world building project. Is that like I have to take all these movie ideas and find a way to make those plots exist in the world. Sweet, and we can put that next to the first rock wall. It's great. So when playing, you know, it's not a perfect match, but it's good enough that we could do something like that. And we know that the mini can move around, or if we need to make a right angle, we can make a right angle. If we want to stack it, it stacks really well. Little bevel, that'd be nice. So yeah. Is this the new one? Which one's the new one? Shoot. This one's the new one. Using the back side of the blade. There we go. I'll get more texture right here. There. Great. 2 rock walls. Painting these, priming them at least, will happen off camera, and then we can paint them on camera. Look at this mess. Alright, so yeah. The cabin for Dante's Peak, we need to fill up this third part. We gotta build all the planks of wood that are meant to make up this floor. Well, currently we have all these strips made perfect for that. So, to catch up on some technique ideas here, we have, let me give you the macro lens. Starting at the bottom here, we have a 2x2, right? 2 planks of wood for this. And we went to the next space room. We went to 3. So 2, 3. 3, 2, right? So that means we're coming back to the similar thing to the first one. So 2, 3, and this is meant to be 2. And that gives an offset feeling for the wood. I got a Brickmaster. I think you'd enjoy this. I have gotten further on my next travel. I think I'm only going to make one more travel video forever. And I'm taking what I learned from older editions and modernizing it to work with the Underworld clock. That way, in D&D, you just follow this simple instruction. It can be theater of the mind. You don't need any hex maps. And you can travel across the land, and it will feel like an old school exploration game, but just inside of D&D. Without having to pull out a whole nother game or learn a whole nother system. The only hiccup right now that I have with it is that it struggles. It works it works so well. Problem is, it doesn't take in consideration terrain. And the previous couple ways that I've had terrain matter in it bogged it down so much. So that's the only thing that's holding it back right now. Otherwise, makes fast travel, slow travel, even slower travel far more interesting and far more tension building, like the Underworld Clock. While also satisfying players who just want to get where they're going, and DMs who want to share the world that you're traveling in. Ooh, I did a double, so I should move that up. I think the thing that the Alien RPG struggles with, because there's a lot about it that is very clever. One thing that it really struggles with is turn tracking and time tracking. It has turns in it very similar to old school exploration dungeon turns. But I think Alien RPG can benefit a lot from the Underworld Clock. So I'm super interested in running that together. Because that's a game where you do not, absolutely not, want to have the clock hit 0. And I have a sneaky suspicion that using the Underworld Clock in an Alien RPG will make the game feel extremely like Alien Isolation. Yeah, with Curse of Amity Island, we don't go heavy into the rule sets. I know there's a moment that I kind of brush over it when we first introduce it in... Oh my gosh. Is it Attic Attack? Like episode 12? what am I building for? I am building for... it's not for the Amity campaign. It'll be for the campaign after. So after Amity Island, we have 2 one-shots coming out. Technically, they're all prequels to Amity Island. One is a bit more world-buildy than the other, and the other is actually connected to Amity Island. But after those 2 one-shots, which we start filming in January, is Dante's Peak. And that's what this cabin is for. You know what I'm not doing on this piece that I'm supposed to be doing? Is I'm not doing the edges. Oh man, skipping whole. I was like, man, I'm going fast. It's because I'm skipping a quarter of the pieces. Well, I'll do that when I go back through and glue. I was wondering about that. So what I've been skipping this whole time is, once I put this texture on top, I'm supposed to go over the sides. And even just a nice groove down here. Even though the odds are you'll never see that. Different variations on how the alien finds players with a cat option. That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's the curious part, right? So it's like, because part of it is you don't know if at 0 you're going to get a monster or you're going to get an NPC. Because it's an encounter doesn't mean it's combat. And then if it's a monster, or if it's an NPC, you roll on the reaction table as a DM to determine, is this going to be friendly, hostile, a surprise attack? So I can see if there's only going to be one monster, such as the alien, then it would be very much like, how does the alien find you? Like, what are the parameters of the alien? How is it hiding? Are we getting a hot spring scene? What was it? Chris's character, his motivation for his character, not his motivation, his inspiration was the hot spring scene where the guy who's in there, water starts getting super hot, but instead of dying, he gets out. Or Jordy's character is inspired by the helicopter pilot, the greedy helicopter pilot who's like, hey, if you want me to help you in this life or death situation, you're going to have to pay me more. Sam, what's up? The cat is a good hint, absolutely. Another good hint or omen for the underworld clock in Alien is the motion tracker. Or the sound of a vent opening in the distance. Or a door. I think for preparation for the Alien campaign, I can do... Well, I need to ask somebody for a PC because I only have a Mac laptop. So... Wait, did I mess this up? I was gonna say, for preparation, I could play Alien Isolation. On stream. In the dark. Terrifying. Every time I try to play that game, I can't get far. I'm so scared. There's technically room for one more board. I'll use this thin one. I used the Xenomorph in a Judge Dredd inspired game. That's pretty cool. When I was, I don't know if I have the documents still, but I was homebrewing for the Alien game to work out the weapons mechanic, because currently the Alien game's weapons mechanics are very cinematic, which is totally fine. Because they don't want you to worry about tracking ammo and all that stuff. Totally okay. If you roll a critical failure, you gotta reload. That's kind of the logic. Or your gun jams and you have to reload. What I really wanted to do was add a sense of Blade Runner to it. And because I really like what's in the Blade Runner system. You have 2 health bars. You have physical health and then you have stress. And stress works perfectly fine with Alien, but the stress system in Alien works differently. And I wanted to also, the reason why I wanted to work out the weapons system in Alien was because I wanted a sense of GTFO in it to get a little bit more tactical combat in there. But I don't know if it's necessary. Oh, another difficult part about running Alien on camera, Allie. Yeah. Another difficult part about running Alien on camera instead of audio only is the minis.
Oh, because like that's kind of our thing.
Yeah, so if we go camera, I gotta get sci-fi stuff.
Well, I've already talked about that, but I think it should just be like cassette tapes, and you can run how you ran the last Alien game. That's actually like, but yeah, it's fine. Even mine is better.
But and also once you put, I noticed this when we put minis down for the Alien one shot, it became less of horror and more of tactical survival. So maybe minis for, like what you're saying, a set piece, a finale, right? So I only have to get certain things that can make up the possible big finale fights, while everything else is theater of the mind, even smaller combats. I mean, it can be Patreon exclusive first, and then a few months later it goes to public. It could do that too. But that's more than a Alien 1 type thing. Less aliens when they be blasting away everything. Yeah, it'd be like backer early access. Plus backers, Patreon will also have the uncut. Oh, what am I doing? I should be gluing these on. And then the best brush a crafter could get, just their fingers. Because if we play a long form Alien campaign, like a dozen episodes or something like that, right? It's there, right there are D&D advice and talking videos that can be made about that too, which can help other people who are interested in playing an Alien game. Same thing with running Shadow Dark. For Dracula. But I think no matter what system I'm talking about or system that I could be playing, it's important that the advice videos are universal. I guess unless it's a very specific Alien or whatever RPG to just like be specific for people going to that game. But otherwise, I think the advice should be universal. Sick. So, we have our wood floor, guys. Ladies and gents, we have a wooden floor. Ooh, there's a nice gap in here that we can play with. There we go. Let's give you a close-up. Got some crooked beams of wood over here. That's great. And now we just let that dry. While we work on some nails on the previous room. I think this is the better angle to hold it. Skimming through a quick preview of the Shadow Dark makes me appreciate Karen even more. I think Shadow Dark seems awesome, but still might get the PDF at some point for reference and such. Yeah, so I ordered the book a while back on the Kickstarter. I have the PDF and I've been skimming it over and over and over to kind of just like refresh my brain with the rules so they stay fresh in my mind. And I have looked up, and there are a few people who have done enough of these, but not enough, in my opinion. Well, at least for me to just take and use. There are more creative people that could do this. Is making monster cards, and monster cards aren't the biggest deal, but monster cards, spell cards, big deal. Since it's all one book, having a spell card, a deck of spell cards for Shadow Dark, super clutch. I did find somebody on Reddit that did make a good bunch of them, and they looked really good. So that's super helpful for the game. I've become more of an appreciator of spell cards, gear cards, monster cards. They really just make games run really smooth. And they limit the design so nothing gets super bloated. In a handful of our games for D&D, we use spell cards, we use the apps, but honestly, the best resource are some of the third-party websites that allow you to print spell cards, because they're more up-to-date than the official products. I remember when I started playing a cleric, in Fables of Refuge, I used the spell cards for the cleric, but because I was the grave domain, none of the cards matched what I could do. So, well, a handful of them at least. So I just like stopped using them. Look at those nails come to life. There we go. All the nails are in for the second tile, I guess. Second room. Super satisfying to get this far. When the side of your nose itches, but you're afraid that looks like you're picking your nose. You're like, no, I'm just rubbing my nose. I'm not picking it. And somebody walking by goes, sure. So we just want this piece to dry before we really get detailed on that. Big gig. So, to glue these walls. This wall has nothing because I don't have the door yet. But I feel confident that I can glue that on later. So I really just want to get the structure going. Let's see. What is a cheeky way that I could do this? The least amount of effort. Does this fit? Nope. Shoot. Does this fit here? Yes. That's not how the wood goes. Nope, those are too short. The roofing is good. Oh, these are meant to be the roof planks. I can't cut these. These are a pain in the butt to get remade. Kobe. About this? What's this in length? 17. I want to cut these. Hard to get 20 centimeter long. Let me go measure something before I commit to making what I think is a big mistake. Okay, I have enough material. So I could try it. I could try cutting these up. So it's supposed to be 17, did I say? Yes. So I need to find out what should I do during a week in-game downtime for my cleric. Except for shopping and visiting temple. Do some charity work and help out the poor, the hungry. Maybe help an orphanage. Do some what are they called? Some fortune telling, right? So that way it's kind of like you go to a medium and they're holding hands and you tell some fortunes. And honestly, try to through the act of feeding some hungry, helping some children, and giving back to the community, the cleric does so in the hopes of spreading the word of their faith. So that way they can walk away with some brownie points or, some mechanical reward. Like, for, let's say, each let's make a mini game out of this. So downtime in a town, you have one cleric. We can do a handful of events. One event is help the poor and the hungry. Do some charity work, basically. Help the orphanage. See to the sick and injured, and do what you can to help them without using magical means. If you use magic, what's the consequence for using magic? You will achieve the event, but you won't receive the reward. So the goal is to do it hands-on and ask creatively how are you going to help these events. So help the poor and hungry, go to an orphanage, help the kids, go to a hospital or the barracks and help those who are injured or sick. And let's see. So you have 3 events there. Well, the other people are saying. We got some studying. We got information network, giving more money to the homeless. You convert that to an event. If there's a local temple, I know you said not to do this, but if there is a local temple, help out the local priest or cleric or shaman. Help them out with their daily chores. So you got 4 events. Meditating and praying. I would say attach meditating and praying to each event is like an option. But the goal is to spread the faith, the meaning of the faith, like the profile of the god. And creatively ask the player how they're going to approach each problem without magic. Then you can have them roll with advantage after they describe the thing, so that way there's a light chance of failure but a high chance of success. Roll with advantage. Pick a stat that they're good at. I would say charisma check. It's charisma or wisdom check, their choice. Then, if they succeed, they get a 1d4 bless, right? That stays with them until they use it. So they could hang on to that sucker. And they get a 1d4 bless for each event that they're able to succeed. And how long are they on the downtime? A week? Tell them that they have to pick 2 things out of the 4. I personally would lay it out like a video game, like quests. It's like, I would introduce it not like, these are the things you can do in town. Unless you go straight to the temple and talk to the cleric, then I would be like, earthquake. Then I would actually be more like, the cleric is asking you for some help around town. These are the things that you can help with, but since you're only here for a week, consider only picking 2. But when you're walking through town, the event is, the kids need some taking care of. So when you're walking through town, there's orphans running around begging for money and coughing and whatnot. They need supervision. You see people who are sick. You see people in need of help, right? Set those up narratively around town as set decoration. And then the players can actually just choose to interact or wait till they get the quest list from talking to the priest. You can have some NPCs in town mention that, there's a bunch of orphans running around. I wish someone could help them out, or they really need some guidance. JP, what's up? Thank you, man. I'm building some houses here. Chris making some lines. You know it. I'm the line master. My DM asking us what we would like to spend the time on, but thanks anyways. Yeah, I was wondering if you were asking as a DM or a player, and it's like, I'll just answer it as if I was a DM. Okay, so... Don't let me build a house, guys. It'll just fall apart. Alright, so we're going to glue some edges together, and then we're going to quickly try to glue the top beam on top for support. Cool. Get this off of my fingers. Okay. Now let me get my square. Seems about right. Yeah, I think that's gonna look good. So this is the floor for this house. The goal is to have a house, and I can take the walls and the roof off while having a tile to play on. And my goal is to put magnets into the corners to keep the wall structure tacked on. I have not gotten the doors yet. The doors are printed, they're ready. They're across town. This is meant to be where the door goes, roughly like right here, and then I can put the wood beams on. My thinking is I can glue the wall on and put the door on second. What kind of foam is that? Looks super soft and nice to work with. It is XPS foam. There should be a link to the foam in the description below. Should be. Not sure. Pretty confident. Fairly confident. Just confident enough. But we got 3 windows, and then the door will be over here. So even if I was to say, oh, there's going to be a chimney in the house or something like that, I still want I still want the windows on all the walls, and I might still add a window on the wall with the door. I should make that decision before I glue. Oh shoot, is this at an angle? Son of a... There we go. So even if there's a chimney or something, I can add the chimney after the fact. Whoops. I thought I was going to do that casually. Apparently I biffed it. So I can put the chimney in after the fact, no problem. But what I want for the houses to have the windows for is once it's primed and painted, I'm going to put parchment paper on the back of the windows and have some type of LED system glued to the inside so I can turn them on. Is the house, the floor tile square? It's rectangle. Yes, it is. How big is this? 15 centimeters by 11 centimeters, minus the bricks. The bricks are just meant to represent the wall. Then, just like the cabin floors, here's a great sample piece. So what I have done is it's all 1 centimeter tall, and what I did with the Proxon is cut a slice off the top and use that slice to make the planks and then glue them back on just like the cabin floor. So that way I keep that 1 centimeter height. Yeah, so the house is more for outdoor or in a town, but then I can also just take the roofs off and attach these as rooms in a dungeon if I want. And then I can make the same size for a basement, but make it out of stone. Or make it half the size, because basements are small. Yeah, so we got... we got a couple of these. So I can make a big room, or I can make an offset. I can put it over here for a hallway, right? Which is great. And then I can also use the cabin for a big room as well. So this is too big? Yeah. How long does this have to be? It has to be as long as these walls. A lot of my pillars are not cut accordingly. They were probably made for something else. So... what is this? 9 centimeters. Two centimeters too tall. It's possible. The goal is to be very modular, so I don't know what the limits of this design could be. But I also do know that it just needs to function for now, so I'm just trying to keep the measurements in mind for modularity. Because I can still make a 2-story house with the same floor. Okay, let's blue. There we go. I wish I could show you guys, but it's so fragile. I think it would be nice to add some wood right here. That was part of the original goal, but I chose not to do it because I was just like, it might be too many details for now. Where do I put the floor? There we go. See you on what you're supposed to stand on. There we go. This piece would go right here. But I need to get this board over here done, but I need to put the wall on. And I think for the magnets, I'm going to use the same magnets I used for the half walls earlier in the stream. Very thin ones. And the beauty about these half walls is, let's say we go into this house and I want to mark down where the windows were. Should be able to do that right there. It's not stable. Well, maybe I don't even need those half walls. Maybe I do. I mean, having magnets in the brick to support, because the windows are always going to be in the same spot. Are these about the same height? They're a little taller. Just barely a little taller. But yeah, if there were magnets inside the wall, I could either snap the windows on like this or put the half wall on. I don't think we need the half wall. Half walls are saved for multi-room places. Like, oh, we're in a tavern and I have a big tavern wooden floor and I need to separate some rooms apart. That's what those half walls are for. So I could just put, knowing that the windows are going to be roughly here. There we go. Then now those windows are multi-purpose, which is great. And then for the wall that's meant to have the door, if I'm going to put the door right here, then maybe have a window over here. But I need to build the wall before I start marking down on the floor. Alright, but yeah, so that is a lot of progress today. We glued the walls together, guys. We got one more stone wall made. We put the magnets in these half walls that I made. I will be gluing up some more windows in the background off stream. And the next stream, ideally, is next Tuesday. Worst case, this Sunday. Wait, no. Wait. No, wait. This Sunday is a holiday. And we're hanging out with friends, so I can't stream anyway. So yeah, the stream will be next Tuesday. And my hope is to get the next episode of Curse of Amity Island out this Sunday. Make sure you catch up on the show. It's really good. I put a lot of work into it. I have a talking head out. I mentioned it earlier in the stream. Get rid of... There we go. Look at this shirt. This shirt represents the video that just dropped today. I talk about MCDM RPG and how that compares to D&D. It's a very short video, just kind of excitement and hype and sharing. So the next stream, we're going to make progress on the things that we're already working on. That'll be the big thing. So we have the cabin floor. I got to prime one of those floors again. Next stream, we definitely should cut down like 3 of these stone walls and get really good progress done on those. Yeah. We're just chugging away, getting ready for Dante's Peak, while at the same time making sure everything that's being made for Dante's Peak is fairly universal and modular for future adventures as well, such as the rock walls, these houses, all that stuff. I have mentioned this before on the Discord, but I do have some minis that I've painted over the years that I'm looking to get rid of. We have an old wizard's tower, a farm building that I cut in half so that way it's represented 2 buildings, not just one. I don't have space. I don't have space. So the wizard tower that I painted that I'm looking to get rid of is pretty big.
It's great quality.
Yeah, 3D printed.
We used it in Fairhaven.
It's in the Fur Haven one shot.
It's a wizard's tower.
It kind of comes apart, so you can.
The bottom also comes off too.
I've only painted the exterior, and a couple of the layers I did glue together. So it's not as functional interior-wise. Also, it's so tiny in there. It's really good for set deck on a terrain table. And then have some type of interior tile to represent the floors. This building is one of the first buildings I ever painted.
Tell Kobe I said hi.
Allie says hi, Kobe. And it was the first time I played with magnets. So I drilled holes in here so I could magnetically attach the top to the bottom. It's just a ruined house, which is really cool. Then there is this, which is technically it's supposed to be this, all in one. It's kind of a fun look as one building. But I actually had it split in half so I could have 2 buildings that look similar standing next to each other in a game.
Farmhouse and the
Yeah.
because I really was thinking it really got confused on what I needed.
So there's that, and then there are some they're in the closet right now, but some of my older D&D disc terrain pieces. They're huge.
You should take photos of each item that you're giving away. Post it somewhere in the Discord, and then people can
I'll hide it in the Discord. Yeah, so I could post them on the Discord, and you guys can discuss which ones you want. We could do an auction. I know that was brought up on the Discord. I don't know. I have no idea. I just know that they are pieces that I put a lot of work into, and I don't use them at all anymore. And so I want to see if they can go to a good home. And we can let that stew in your mind until next Tuesday. Until then, though, I gotta go. I gotta eat breakfast. It was a late breakfast. I will see you all on Tuesday. Enjoy the new video, and I hope I can get Curse of Amity Island out this Sunday for you to enjoy even more so. Have a wonderful rest of your day, afternoon, evening,
happy holidays.
and happy holidays.
Over and over again,
Good night. Good night. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night. Good See ya.
See ya. See ya.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night. Good morning. See ya. Good morning.
See ya. See ya.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night. Good morning. Good morning. Jason, no. See ya.
See ya. See ya.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night. Good morning. Good see ya. Good morning. Jason, no. See ya.
See ya.